Hi, my name is Collegial Crump. If you're new to my channel, I'm just starting out. I'm a working mom of 4 lovely kiddos. So right now, these videos are about various topics. Anything supernatural right now, with focus on near-death experiences, particularly mine right now. So these videos will be my little side hobby. I hope to expand on theories and answer questions. This is something I'm really passionate about and love exploring, and helping further give evidence and information to help people understand there really is that mind, body, soul connection. Because there is so much misinformation out there regarding this topic. Some helpful background information regarding this near-death experience would be that I grew up on a hobby farm in Wisconsin, and I lived in a zone where we would reach Canada levels of freezing cold. And our giant farmhouse with these super tall ceilings was made in the 1800s, and everything would freeze, you know, from our pipes to our cups of water to our shampoo bottles. It didn't help that my bedroom was the furthest away from the working chimney in the house. And I had this experience at 10. I didn't know what hypothermia was. Embarrassingly, up until, I don't want to say it, till I was like 20. All I knew was that I'd get really cold, but my body would do this amazing thing where I'd just get warm again. And I thought that that was just our body being amazing. It would reach that point a lot in my childhood where my hands would stop working and then I'd feel warm again. As soon as I started taking off my jacket, that's when people that I was with would say, "Go inside." They never explained to me what was going on, why I was doing that, and why it was not safe, other than it's cold out. I don't want you to get frostbite. So I really loved wearing this yellow jacket and this sweater. The night this happened, I was wearing my yellow jacket. It was in December. Of course, it had to be one of the coldest nights, right? I know that because school buses and cars were not starting. Machine equipment were not starting. I had just become homeschooled. I was super stoked that I didn't have to wake up early and that I also didn't have to care if a school bus started or not. But I did have to care about getting the animals into the barn. People in my family didn't want to go outside into the cold to get the animals, and that didn't sit well with me. I was like, fine, I'll just go outside myself. Screw you guys. They were like, well, make sure you put on a hat and gloves so you don't get frostbite. Meh. I put on these cheap gloves that we had because we're poor, little hat to save time rather than putting on a winter jacket. I didn't like how puffy it was. I put on my yellow jacket. 10-year-old logic, right? So I head outside. There were a few times that I was going into the barn, out of the barn, then to collect all the animals that were in the back 40. My legs started not working so well. I started tripping on my own feet. I thought that was hilarious. I was hot and I was tired and I was nauseous, and I take off my jacket and I tie it around my waist, stumble in after the animals. I think I ended up putting my hand on one of the cow's back ends just to keep myself steady because I was feeling a bit dizzy. When we get into the barn, I get the hay down, I get the straw down for their beds. When I was trying to climb the ladder, I noticed my hands and my arms weren't working. I kept trying to lift my arm and my arm would fall back down. It happened with both my arms. I remember it was super funny because my arm was like a spaghetti noodle. I have a noodle for a hand. So happy to have a noodle for a hand. How can I use this noodle to do my chores? I uncomfortably stick my arm in between the twine and the hay and drag this hay bale. My sister and my dad finally come out. I say, "What took you so long?" Easy to anger. My dad comes, smacks me over the back of the head. "Put your jacket back on. It's cold out." So I do. I'm like, "I'm too hot. I don't want to wear my jacket." And he's like, "You're hot." And my sister's like, "Yeah." And she's acting like she's drunk. Dad's like, "Go inside." I'm confused why he wants me to go inside because I'm just fine. So I'm stumbling over my feet. I take my jacket off as soon as I'm out of that barn and out of my dad's eyesight. I get inside, can't lift my arm very well, and I use my teeth to kind of like hang my jacket up. And my mom's cooking dinner inside. I say, "Mom, I'm really tired. I'm gonna go take a nap." I can finally fall asleep. And as fast as I fall asleep, I wake back up again. It's like I sat up but without the sensation of feeling the muscles contract. I assume I came out of my head. It was like that. As soon as I sit up, I go, "Oh, I guess I wasn't that tired. What's mom cooking?" As soon as I have that thought, I zoop all the way down the stairs within like a millisecond. I'm downstairs. I see my mom. There's this orange kind of light around her body. I can tell what her intentions are. I kind of have the knowing of make food, go watch TV. Make food, go watch TV. I go, ugh, that's boring. I'm gonna go back upstairs to my room. As soon as I think that, zoop, right back upstairs to my room almost instantly. I'm looking at my toys and I notice a lot of this kind of right behind me, this full spectrum light with this pinkish kind of purple hue mixed in. And I look outside and I see it bouncing off the snow and I go, wow, that's so beautiful. I've never seen that before. And I have the desire that I want to see the snow up close. And as soon as I have that desire arise within me, I zoop right through the, for lack of a better word, I'm just gonna use zoop. I go through the window in the wall straight down to the snow. And I want to look at the snow like this close to my face. And I want to see every single particle of light. And I do. It's sparkling. It's beautiful. I was often a stargazer as a child. I still am to this day. So I turn my attention to the sky and to the moon. I've never seen it this bright and this colorful before. I watched Wallace and Gromit eating cheese on the moon. I wonder what it would be like to live on the moon. As soon as I have that thought, I get sucked, like, again, almost against my will, through this tunnel. This tunnel has a bunch of different lights in it. The most dominant colors were dark gray and then turned to a white. Then I'm at the end of the tunnel. I'm in a crater on the moon. No, I didn't see the Earth because I'm on a crater on the moon. As soon as I think I'm gonna explore this moon, I feel presence next to me to my right side. I turn, I see 3 humongous angels. Still to this day, I don't know who those 3 beings were. I'm fine with people speculating on who they were. I know that somebody mentioned Joe Dispenza and a few of his clients in deep meditation were able to meet these beings. You don't have to die to have these kinds of experiences, these out-of-body experiences. But when you do die and you have these experiences, things are a lot more clear when you're in pure energy form than when you are half energy, kind of still tethered to your body kind of form. So 3 giant blue light being looking things. 1 comes up to me, 2 stay in the back. They had this masculine kind of energy coming off of them. Yes, they had both feminine and masculine energy, just like we do. They needed to come off as more masculine energy to balance my own energy out. The one that came up to me asked me, "What'd you think of your life?" And I said, "Oh man, it sucked." I was beaten. They made fun of me. I'm ignored all the time. And I remember I asked, why did my dad beat me so much? Being replied back, it was to teach me lessons, and he was doing the best that he could with what he could. And they told me that I need to be grateful and then I need to forgive him. I was like, why should I forgive him? And they go, because he's part of your soul family. You chose him. You chose your mom before you came to this life. We helped you choose this life. Be grateful for the lessons that you're learning, because this experience is all about learning and evolving our spirit. So they said we picked each other. To that, I wondered, if we picked each other in this life, what about other lives? And they showed me, it all seemed to happen at once. These lives they showed me were of equal or lesser value than the life that I was currently living. They said that I could view as many as I wanted. I'll share a couple with you. One of the lives was me sitting in a big bluff, maybe a cliff. There were holes cut out, kind of caves for us to go up into when it got dark out. I remember watching the sunset, and I was grateful for the sunset, but I was really sad. It was too late for me to have children. I remember longing to have a child. Then the next life that they showed me, I got to experience being born, and it was shown to me that my mom wasn't my mom, because in this other life, she and I had met, we were friends, and then we got married, and then we had a small little family, but our children all died young, and that really made for a painful marriage. So her spirit and I reincarnated back into this life. We made plans together to help each other work out karma and evolve. It took seconds to kind of get this download and understand most of what I needed to know, the important bits of each life. And they were showing me this because they were trying to figure out if I wanted to really go back or not. They were trying to show me, are you sure you don't want to go back? Because again, here you are experiencing another life that you don't have a family. After seeing that, yeah, I think I do want to go back and experience a family. I've experienced now being an adult without family. And it kind of came as a shock to me that, oh, I can go back. I don't really want to go back, but I do want to experience having a family, finish helping my mom, to be able to help people and to teach my children. So then they manifested this energy that flowed, and it resembled a river. And the river was so long, it flowed for eternity. And there were 2 giant stones or boulders in it, and one represented me having this experience and coming out of my body. The last one that I was closest to represented when I would die next. The energy in the river flowed around even that rock or boulder that represented when I would die next. It flowed around it 2 different ways on each side of it. I got the understanding that this energy represented, or this river energy thing, represented our human perception of time and the flow of time. They said that they could interact with any point in time, which was a fascinating concept. One that I'm still trying to grasp and understand, and hoping that other people can understand that concept or expand upon it. Anywho, to help my still very human spirit grasp what they were talking about, they showed me giant boulders and rocks, and they let me hold stones that were about the size of my palm of my hand. I manifested this like energetic hand. They said these rocks and these stones and boulders were things I had chosen in my life. They asked what are the experiences I'd like to have in my life, and we talked for a while about all the different things that I want in my life. I was told I couldn't have everything because it just wouldn't work. What would work is that I made decisions that we all agreed on, and they helped me understand the bigger picture, and they did guide me. And I was a young spirit that didn't have the full download, that because I didn't need it, that wouldn't be useful to this life. And they let me toss stones in. As I tossed stones in, I could see one of these giant beings grab this humongous boulder. This giant boulder crashed into the water, splashes everywhere, and I felt anxiety from seeing that. It crashed into the water after I had tossed a stone in. I asked the being closest to me, why did he do that? The being said the boulder had to be placed there because my actions have consequences. My choices have consequences. And they explained every action is important. Everything we do has cause and effect. They told me to choose my path wisely. And yes, we did talk about each thing I wanted in my life and the pros and cons. I wasn't allowed to just do whatever I wanted. That would be foolish. And that's why they were guiding me and helping me understand the bigger picture. The feeling I got from them was that of a very loving parent or caretaker. It's the feeling I get when I look at my child or a pet. I just have so much love for them, understanding and patience, and I want the best for them and to see them become the best that they can be. And it felt like they were hanging on every word that I said, and it felt so nice and so loving and so sweet. The water and energy flowed around these different stones and boulders and rocks that were in the river. It was like the water or energy was taking different avenues or different paths. The split that these choices made, or that these stones or rocks made, and the energy flowing around them, it represented that there will be crossroads in your life or situations in your life that happen that you get the free will to choose good or bad. Everything follows a pattern, is what I was told. That's why I love spiritual geometry. Life is almost kind of like a video game. We have almost an illusion of choice, I would say. We made our decisions up there or in another dimension, and we kind of have our lives laid out for us for the most part. So back to it. I'm looking at the river. I was told to step into this river near the boulder that represented me coming back. Stepping into it, I get sucked down back through this tunnel, and I'm back in my room, hovering over my body. I bring my energy down near the side of my bed. I notice there's no light around my body, like there was around my mom. I have this knowing that I need to touch. It would be this side. I touched this side of my head to re-enter my head, or re-enter my body. I still had no real emotional connection to seeing my body, even when I learned it was my body. Coming back into my body, it was an odd sensation. Felt like I was almost diving into cold water. It was dense, heavy one. Felt like someone was laying this like weighted blanket over me. I had some trouble moving my body when I came back. When I could, I sat up and I went downstairs and I sat in front of the TV, kind of warmed up under a blanket near the fire. And I didn't tell my family about any of this until, I don't know, maybe a month or so later when we were driving. And Thriving Ivory's Angels on the Moon song came on. And I said, oh, I know the angels on the moon. And I proceeded to tell them, and in my 10-year-old words, it was just like real life, except it wasn't real life because I didn't have a body. At the end of it all, my mom cried and she was saying, thank you for coming back. Thank you for choosing us. And my dad actually installed 2 more furnaces, because we had nothing but wood burning stoves to heat the house. A huge 1800s farmhouse. So that made the house a lot warmer, thank goodness. The only person that had a problem with it at that time, my sister just above me, she was really jealous that the attention was off of her because she's still the family favorite and she's obsessed with having all attention on her at all times. So if they were paying attention to me for God knows how long, I was explaining this entire experience to my parents in full detail because it was way more fresh in my mind then. So she was arguing with me, and it got to the point where even she was like, Okay, yeah, I can't explain why any of that would happen for you. It doesn't sound like a normal dream. And then I'm like, ha, see? And it must not be a dream then. And my mom was like, it sounded like you might have died. And I was like, oh. I just knew all of the sensations and everything was just like real life, except I didn't have a body. I could think and I could act and I could do everything just as I do in real life. Coming back, I've had since then what my childhood self called future dream, where I've dreamt of future happenings down to the detail. I notice I can have these dreams when I'm taking care of my body, taking my vitamins, getting enough sleep, taking care of my mental and physical health, not being gluttonous, lustful, slothful, greedy, prideful, envious, or wrathful. Little thing I'd like to add is to watch what you have any emotional or mental or physical tied to, because that will tie your energy to this existence. And we aren't trying to exactly tie ourselves to this existence too much, other than to learn in this experience what we can't physically feel in spirit or our pure energy state. I suppose that's about it for now. Thanks for watching this far and going on this journey with me. Appreciate the time you've spent. Thank you.